Hi, this is Joe Shahada from Top Tier Capital. Well, the markets ended pretty much flat today, but we've had a lot of important action go on in the past few days, so let's just get right into it here. This first chart I have is a 15-minute chart of the S&P 500 futures, and I've taken out the overnight action, so this is all just during the day trading here. So, you can clearly see this is Monday back here. You can clearly see the downtrend we had there. Once we broke trend, we've been moving much higher since then. Now, we started to break trend at the end of the day here, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So what happened when we broke trend back here? We were massively oversold. We went too far too fast. We had oversold conditions in the RSI here, and then we had it again. So when we get two double dips right after each other, that's always a great oversold indicator. And we also broke trend here, so straight up we went. And we went straight up without resistance because we went straight down without support. So once we got overbought here, we had to wait for us to get even more overbought, which is what happened pretty much towards the end of the day there. We got overbought, and we were also hitting massive resistance, but we'll get to that in a second as well. And we broke trend, and now we headed lower. And I expect us to head lower in the short term here, maybe in the next couple of days, so because we broke trend there. So that's what happened in the short term. Let's go to the daily chart here. So this is that resistance area, this trend channel that we were in before. I was looking for about 1520-ish to be resistance, and that's exactly what we got. We floated around that point all day today until it was just too much for the bulls to handle, and it came lower. Now I'm still looking for 1525 now to the upside to be resistance moving forward. If we do try to push one more time higher, we're going to probably run into that area again. It seems to be very strong resistance. You can see multiple times it's failed now. So I would expect that to continue. And then for the downside support, I'm looking for 1460. There's pretty much no support for this thing on the whole way down. I discount this completely. This as being support, the 1490 area, because it didn't really play into support as we would normally think. This just became a massively oversold big down day, a stretch of oversold. That's pretty much all that was. So 1460 is the only real support level I'm looking for. So let's move to the YM. This is the Dow futures, and we have, let's zoom in a little bit. So we have a similar situation, uptrend. We kind of broke sideways there. Now we tried to break above this sideways trend that we were in, and we failed again. I expect this whole thing to keep, every time it goes higher, to keep running into resistance. I think every bit of up moves that we get in the Dow will run into resistance until, of course, there's a definitive breakout. But for now, I don't think prices could go much higher there. We tend to look like we're slowing down, and we find resistance every time we try to make a new high anyway. So that's that. I think short-term support should be this bottom line here at, what is that, 13,850-ish, and then with a bigger support down at 13.5 area. So that's the Dow, and the resistance, of course, all the way up. Every time we make a new high, I would expect it to be resisted. So let's go to the Nasdaq. Same boring sideways action here, but it's not necessarily boring if you're the kind of trader that loves sideways action. You can still trade it. You can buy at the lows and sell at the highs, and you can make money all day long doing that. So as long as the sideways trend is going to be like this, we're just going to continue to think it's going to go sideways forever and ever. Amen. Because that's all it's done all year long. So that's the Nasdaq. Let's move to the Russell now. Okay, so here's the support and resistance levels here. Everything's pretty much been the same. We had an upward trend that we broke out of, and now the Russell hasn't been going up as fast as the other indices, and that's a key indication there, because the Russell tends to move higher faster and lower harder, and it's not participating in these upward moves. So for the Russell, the only support area is 860. We had no resistance on the way up, so we get no support on the way down. And now we have to look at this level, this upward trend line, to be our resistance, which could be 925, 930-ish if we get there. But I think lower prices here, and the Russell moving forward, we got more sideways action in the NQ, which is the Nasdaq. Lower prices in the S&P 500 in the intermediate term, but if we do move back up into that uptrend, then it could be onward and upward for the rally. But for now, lower prices. So that's our analysis for today. We have a lot more analysis throughout the week at toptiercapital.com. So do check that out. And thank you for watching, and happy trading.